we've had conversations about the ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
That was a later in life diagnosis. So I think from memory it was 26. I guess what sort of got you to the point of thinking, okay, let's go get tested, and then I guess the process, because I feel like it's a sort of taboo subject where people are like, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll be fine without it, whether you become medicated or not.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so run us through what got you to the point of going to get tested, and I guess the testing period, and then I guess post-diagnosis, what's sort of different or what's changed?
So when I originally thought that I might need to get tested, I actually had no idea of like what ADHD was, I guess. And I was actually researching ADHD because my nephew had just been diagnosed with it. And I didn't know a whole lot about it. And that was pretty much like the tip of the iceberg. So, like, I read that it is like genetic, and it usually comes from a parent has to have it for a kid to have ADHD. And then in that research, I was like,
Shit.
Yeah, I was like, this is ringing true. And I remember just thinking, like, I was in therapy at the time, but I was like going through a breakup and stuff, so I wasn't in the best mindset anyway. I remember thinking, like, how am I going to go to my therapist and be like, I think I have ADHD? And there was like, even my doctors and stuff, like, I was constantly going to the doctors thinking, you know, I had anxiety and depression. But I guess that wasn't the case. Like, I didn't fit the full description of depression or anything like that. And so I was just trialed on a ton of medications because nothing was working. The testing alone is like, it's very, like, the wait list is massive. And because of course there was like this influx and stuff of people wanting to be tested and diagnosed so they could be on medication, mostly like women.
Yeah, okay.
And I had like a horrible experience in Victoria with doctors and stuff. They got me to like do like TMS, which is like, it's like a magnetic pulse that they put through your brain, and it depends what sort of symptoms you have with, like, either if you're more anxious, which is your right brain, or if you're more depressed, which is your left brain. And so essentially you just sit there for 2 minutes and they put like a magnet over your head, and like, yeah, it's such a weird feeling.
Would it be like pressure?
It's like,
not that there's...
It is pressure,
yeah, it is.
But it's like, so it's not constant, and it's just like...
And it's more just to see how your brain reacts to that.
it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I guess if antidepressants aren't working, like I was put on like medical cannabis and stuff, like I had tried everything, and I was in therapy, and like, yeah, it was just awful, and I couldn't even get like a psychiatrist that was local, and I had to get a referral from my doctor, who was just
no good.
Horrible, yeah. So I ended up spending like $2 or $3 grand on the TMS, and then on top of that, all of the testing. So probably like, the doctor was like, no, we're not giving you any stimulants until we get your mood under control. And I was like in the doctor's office, like sobbing, and I'm like, maybe that's true, but I was like, help.
So it's a cry.
And I just like, I knew what it was. Like, I had never felt so, like, all the traits of ADHD, like I lined up with all of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was so aware that I probably didn't exhibit a lot of it. Like, I didn't show it, how much I was struggling.
Is that because I guess you felt like you had to filter certain emotions or actions or reactions?
Yeah, I think I internalized a lot of it, and that has repercussions as well.
I was going to say, does that sort of kind of
Yeah.
fall into the depression and the anxiety?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Because I just couldn't figure it out, and I had no one that would like help me, but I also would like feel it in my body as well.
Yeah.
Like constant tension and yeah, I couldn't control like my thought process. Like I was just really not well. And I think it was like bad timing too because of what I was going through after the breakup. And I lost like 30 kilos like rapidly and lost all of my muscle tone. So like, yeah, it was...
Just not a good time. And because this was around COVID, or was this all post-COVID?
This was all post-COVID, like 2023.
Oh, okay.
End of 22,
Okay,
start of
so
23.
A couple of years, but I suppose in Victoria, those restrictions and the anxiety around it was probably prolonged compared to other states.
Yeah. And everyone like that I would tell about it, they're like, it's a good thing like that you found out, but I guess I don't necessarily feel that way because I'm so hyper aware of all my symptoms now that like it's hard to separate from that. And you have to unlearn everything that you've been taught in terms of how to be organised and, you know, how to stay focused and eating and, you know, sleep.
Just normal day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like impulse.
So is it more like, say you've got task A in front of you, but task A isn't the only thing that's sort of on the mind, it's sort of a handful of other things going, or is it you just can't apply the full concentration?
I mean, it depends what it is. If it's something I'm not interested in, I can get it done, but it takes like a lot more brain power and a lot more, it just takes more time because I don't want to do it. Or I'll try and find something that's a little bit more stimulating, just chasing that dopamine. And that's gotten me in trouble in the past, I think. Yeah, I guess I've always tried to like cope healthily, if that makes sense, in a healthy way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely still affects my mental health and stuff and my relationships.
Yeah.
And for people that don't understand it, it's really tricky.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's sort of, I guess in the sense of professional work, is it the sort of thing that you feel like an employer probably should be aware of? Because obviously you're at a workplace to do a job, but said job probably isn't as straightforward and streamlined in your brain compared to, say, someone else's brain that isn't ADHD. Do you feel like it's sort of something that, bosses or employers or peers should be well aware of, especially in the workplace?
Yes, yeah.
More for you to cope better, or for them to understand better?
Probably both. I think like there needs to be adjustments made in the workplace, which was hard for me to admit as well, because I was like, I just want to be able to do what everyone else can do.
Yeah.
And the longer I sort of sat in that mindset, the worse it was, like, for me.
Yeah.
But there needs to be, some adjustments and a bit of understanding and stuff. But yeah, I actually I probably told you this, but I did tell work.
You probably did, but I don't remember this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I told work, I just sort of said it in a meeting.
Yeah.
And I was like, with all the medication changes and stuff as well, because I became medicated, that was tricky to navigate, and I didn't really have anyone around me on it either. And I was still processing the diagnosis and stuff. I see parts of it that are positive, but I also see a lot of negative.
So in the sense of positive, for you, but obviously I feel like every person would have a different position on their own diagnosed ADHD. For you, what do you feel is positive. Because, I mean, from an outside, again, I'd probably sell out a few flags if I potentially got tested, but, like, I don't look at ADHD as in, like, oh, you know, you've got this big thing that's a bit embarrassing. Like, to me, it's just like, oh, okay, you've got energy. That's like, for me, that's how simple I look at it, which obviously that's not the case, but that's how I look at it. I don't look at it in the sense of like, oh, you've got a disability, or, you know, you don't look.
It is a disability. It is, like, it's, yeah, really disabling.
Obviously, I suppose you just put it in a sentence, but I don't know the actual technical term to a disability. But again, I don't look at it, I don't look down on it. I don't look down on people with ADHD.
Well, I'll rephrase that. I don't think it's a disability. I think people think it is, maybe.
Yeah.
And it is like a spectrum. Like,
yeah.
you know, but it's just, I remember my cousin saying, she's like, you're not disabled, you're just, your brain just works differently.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Like, it's just a difference.
But
in terms of like the positive stuff that comes with it, I guess I really can zero in on like focusing on something I really enjoy, which is, at the minute, it's probably like conspiracies / true crime.
I knew you would bring this.
It's all connected.
We've already made an episode on that. That'll come out later.
Yeah.
I knew you would bring it into this one.
I was like, how can I work it in?
Everyone tune into episode 10 on Foreseeing the Future.
Like, my emotional intelligence has come a lot through like feeling a lot, like, and feeling empathetic towards people and stuff. Like, I think that's my peak and maybe my downfall as well.
Yeah, like feeling a little bit too much.
Or just extremes of everything.
You're just caring. You mentioned before it can come genetically. Are you aware of mum or dad being ADHD, or at least somewhere in that realm?
This is actually like crazy, but I feel I didn't really grow up with Dad, so I don't know what his personality was like. I've had glimpses of what he's like, and he was like a functioning alcoholic, so
probably never had
it's an addiction. Yeah.
True. The real him was probably never not consistently present.
Yeah. Like I knew about like his upbringing and stuff, but I only really found that sort of stuff out after he died, which was, that was like a shock as well, because I was pretty naive about it because I just wasn't around him. Like I think Mum and Dad split when I was like 2. So but like I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of ADHD / autism, and drinking was just his way of coping.
I guess, like you sort of mentioned, like you personally, you're trying to figure stuff out. Things it feels like you're a little bit different at times. So I imagine for some people, they're all going to have different coping mechanisms. Unfortunately, that would have potentially been his if that was the case.
No, I think it's quite common. And then my mum, I don't really know. She could have a mix of both, I reckon. It was sort of hard to see her as like, you know, like a person that had a life before us kids came along and that sort of thing. And she was like a single parent for most of our lives, like worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs, and like to put food and stuff on the table, school uniforms, all that stuff. Like, so she did incredibly well. So if she does have some sort of ADHD / autism, it's pretty remarkable what she did.
And for the record, there's 6 of you.
There's 6 of us.
6 of us. Yeah, I just have to make sure I get that. I should know that.
And their baby.
Yeah, the little baby.
And their baby.
I should be aware of that.
Yeah.
Had to make sure. But yeah, so 6, and I just had 3 jobs, 3 jobs. Potentially battling that internally, whilst also being a single parent for a period of that time as well. It's a lot.
Pretty hectic, right?
Yeah, in a little country town.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't even have a post office.
It does.
Oh, it does.
We just lost our Target though, So we have to like go to Orange
Oh, Target.
to get like underwear and socks.
What, the local grocer doesn't sell them? The little $24 for a pair of Bonds underwear in the just beside the car oil.
Yeah, but all the good sizes are gone.
Mum, there's no size 4s anymore. Where are they?
My ass is grown. You know what's actually crazy though is like once I started telling family about it, my sister started telling me like she thinks she's autistic. You know, she had struggled with the same stuff I struggled with growing up, emotions wise and that sort of thing. Like we were all sort of just in the same bandwagon. I think it's like the statistic is crazy. It's like 60% of kids inherit it from their parents. There's at least a few of us that have it.
Yeah.
One other has been diagnosed after I was I started talking to him about it, and he's like, oh shit, like I should.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. So, and now you just see it everywhere. Like now that you know the traits of it, it's sort of helped me look at the way we grew up differently, because all of us probably struggled with those sort of traits at some point, you know, whether it was addiction or depression and stuff like that. Yeah, it's interesting to sort of see all of us put bits and pieces together and sort of heal from that.
Would you say like, I guess, instability of like childhood, like as you sort of said, like growing up, going through that, like just specifying that, like do you mean from the sense of obviously now, say 20 years on, you're being diagnosed with ADHD, do you feel like it's more to do with the ADHD, or do you more think it's to do with, I guess, just the upbringing itself? Again, single parent, 6 kids, potential, well, by the sounds of potentially 2 being ADHD.
I think like all the, so like they call them comorbidities. So like everything you develop from, say, ADHD in this point, and like in this case, I think all of that came from like environmental, like growing up, like were we all able to like regulate our emotions, and then that would obviously cause hurt and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or like the way of coping or stress levels and keeping jobs and all that sort of stuff is affected from having ADHD.
Yeah.
But having no reference point for having ADHD, because it just wasn't a thing. I think it's the comorbidities come from the environment, and if you're not like treating the root cause of it, ADHD or like autism, then it can be
so it almost
pretty detrimental.
So could you almost, like obviously, I mean, you do quite a bit of research on this, whether this is something that you've come across. I guess you could potentially, from genetics, be born with, you know, genetically a bit of ADHD, but then the environment you grow up in can almost enhance it. Is that sort of what you mean?
It sort of probably enhances the trauma.
The trauma?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because like I think 80% of women that were late diagnosed all have like complex trauma. Just for me, like my experience, like I was a pretty sensitive kid. I just couldn't understand why I couldn't do what everyone else was doing. Like the traits of like autism and ADHD is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's sort of like you can't pick up social cues, or like you can't regulate your emotions. I was good at like keeping it inward because like I didn't want to cause trouble and get in trouble. But yeah, being youngest out of that was hard.
You say like you didn't want to cause trouble, and being the youngest, I feel like, again, different scenario, but I always like say to people, like I always learn what not to do being the youngest, because I'd see my brothers do, you know, X, Y, and Z, and they'd get in trouble for it. And for me, it was always like, well, I'm not going to do that, or at least if I do it, I'm not going to make it public knowledge or whatever, because like I've seen the ramifications for leaving your bike outside when mum said put it in the shed. Suddenly gets rusted, the bike gets taken. So it's like I always felt like I learned what not to do with having been the youngest. But then, I don't know, I always thought like without learning, it almost felt like there was an expectation on me to know how to do something or what to do. Because, I mean, for me, I was the youngest of 5, so it's like, well, I'm the 5th child. Mum's gone through this 4 times with other kids. I should just know what to do. It's almost like, hey, I'm the 5th child, I still need to be taught things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she didn't, but like certain things, it was kind of like it was an expectation that I already knew because Mum had gone through that with the other boys. Is that like kind of sort of similar?
I mean, they will definitely like disagree with me on this, but I feel like, especially like a lot of my younger years, not so much like everyone had sort of moved out when I was like mid-high school, but I don't think that, I feel like I was the glass child a little bit, like I was just, didn't cause a fuss. I probably did like have a lot of symptoms of ADHD when I was quite young, and then probably the rejection sensitivity kicked in and I was just fly under the radar.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Don't be heard, don't be seen.
Don't pick on me.
Yeah, they still find a way.
They still talk about it. I'm like, I must have blocked that out. I remember.
What's the worst thing you got thrown under the bus for by your siblings?
They didn't really throw me under the bus. They just like did shit to me. Like, I remember we were playing hide and seek.
Oh, that's never good for the youngest.
And they're like, yeah, we'll put you in the bin. Like the recycling bin. And then they put me in there and then they just left me in there.
How long for, out of curiosity?
Couple hours. I reckon I crawled out because I pushed the bin over. But I was like, damn, found me in.
I'm winning this game. They're all inside.
Yeah, legit. They were all just sitting inside. They told me to like eat dirt. And I did. Or, actually, Mary and Isaac know this one very well. But we used to walk to and from school every day. We had a couple of different routes that we would take. I was still in primary, maybe early high school, and we used to walk up this big hill to get to school. And they would be like, oh, can you carry our backpacks until halfway and then we'll carry yours? And I was like, yeah. And then they just would walk so far in front of me that they wouldn't. Or they would make me do something. And they're like, we'll make your breakfast really special. And then they'd put like 2 Weet Bix stacked. But they'd put salt in it with milk. Oh boy.
Silly little Annie. Jeez, I feel like I got off cheap here. So mine was literally all I could think of. The first thing I thought of is, you know how you can get those like cartons of donuts from like Coles and Woolies, and there's like 18 cinnamon donuts in them.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh boy.
They were all eaten. Bear in mind, I may remember this wrong, but I remember this in my mind. I remember this vividly. I didn't eat one donut. And I don't know how it happened, but I ended up going to get a donut, and then they weren't there, and Mum was like, who ate all these fucking donuts? And I was like, I didn't even eat one. And of course, at the time, Dylan, Jared, Daniel, all blamed me. So I got grounded for eating all the donuts. Little fat Bradley ate all the donuts apparently, got grounded.
You were.
And I didn't even eat one. Done. I didn't eat one. I was already a fat enough child. I didn't eat just blame the fat child. That's pretty much what it was. They were fat shaming me as a little old 6-year-old.
That's impressive, having that many cinnamon donuts.
18 donuts, that's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, childhood trauma, that's fine.
Yeah. Everyone has their baggage.
Yes, everyone definitely has their baggage. Ridiculous how common it is. Like obviously different extremes, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no more like perfect family, white picket fence anymore.
No.
Absolutely.
It's a lot more common than we think. And it's shocking because people do so well with limited support.
Yeah.
Or, a lot of past trauma. It's impressive.
Yes. But then again, you still you still have people in their 30s and their 40s continually still working through that trauma, and then suddenly they're working through trauma, battling through, you know, having children, relationships, marriages, careers, and then, you know, mortgages, and then the whole world just goes, hey, let's charge $1 million for everything, and then you gotta work through that financial stress, and yeah, it's incredible what people can do when they have to.
And yeah, like social media, it is the age.
Yes, and that's what I find. Like, I mean, again, obviously, social media and publicity is so much more. Well, everything's so much more well covered now than it was, say, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When we were going through school, well, that'd be a correct statement. 20 years ago, yuck. 20 years ago, when we were going through school, like how common it is for ADHD, autistic, like different parts of the spectrum, how common it is now in kids. And it's like, someone said to me the other day, or they raised the question, do you reckon it has something to do with like social media or the digital age? No? Is that a conspiracy theory?
No. I'll look into it. No. Well, they say, like, it does ruin your attention span because you're just stimulated all the time.
Yeah. 15-second dopamine hits.
Yeah. And it's ready all the time.
You know now, like, how much I struggle to sit through a movie. Like, I genuinely struggle to sit through a movie nowadays.
Or go shopping.
We don't need to get into that. I don't want to go look at op shops for 2 hours.
That's my love language.
Let me go sit in the
It's
car.
a bargain, though.
It's someone else's use and abuse.
Marketplace, I love you.
I want to pivot back a little bit.
Yep.
If you're happy to, I guess, give us a little bit of background, not, you know, in total what you feel comfortable with saying, but the past relationship trauma. Like, again, I feel like the way you've implied is sort of enhanced a little bit of anxiety and depression. Like, you don't have to go into complete detail of what happened, but just more curious on, you know, I guess initially, obviously, you kind of go for someone for a certain reason, and then I'm assuming things pivoted and changed over time. If you're happy to touch on that a little bit.
Looking back now, like in hindsight, like my symptoms for ADHD were pretty bad during that relationship. I think the reason I ended up in that type of relationship, I guess, is because of how I grew up and how I saw myself, because I went undiagnosed for all those years. And my self-esteem was just not there, so I just tolerated it a lot more than I should have. And we did semi-try, but it just was not working. It was really unhealthy. I had made the decision to walk away. It didn't just stop after I walked away and moved out. I was pretty determined to stay in Ballarat for a year and not run away and try and rebuild. And I booked a ticket to Europe and did 6 weeks in Europe, 7 weeks in Europe.
That is the best recovery for broken heart, going through that sort of breakup. It's the best recovery.
Yeah. The whole world just fell away for a little while.
Yeah. It's almost get out of reality.
Yeah.
Get out of the serious shit that you kind of have to face.
And I think the toughest part was during COVID and stuff, when I lost the job that I had started. I'd sort of moved out of hospo, tried to. And I started working on a reception desk at a real estate. And I think I was there for maybe 6 weeks. And then I lost my job. So the lockdowns in Victoria were months at a time. You could only leave the house if you were going to the supermarket or going exercising for a walk. Everything was all cafes, eateries, all of that was just takeaway or delivery. Only essential workers could go to work. So I was at home, for a couple months there, unemployed, couldn't leave the house. There was just no outside contact from like we were living in a share house. So it was like myself and Harry and Matt. And like we had some really good times, but it was also it was a real struggle.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just had nothing to like occupy myself with. Harry and Matt could work and I just had nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like I was the first one in the house to get COVID. And I just had to isolate in my room for 2 weeks.
It's pretty unlucky considering you're the one not working.
I was literally like avoiding doing like anything over New Year's because I was like, I can't not go to work. Like I need to work. And I was the first one that got it.
Bloody COVID.
But yeah, that was tricky. And I tell you what, the amount of fucking footy shit that we watched. So like the games were still on with no crowds. And I feel like that's when all like the mullets came out.
You did. Because what else can you do in life when you're locked
Can't
down?
go to the hairdresser. Just do it yourself.
Just go bald.
DIY. Yeah.
Go bald.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with bald.
Yeah. Everyone suits a bald head like you do.
Makes sweetness.
A lot of that relationship too, I guess, like we started off very rocky because I wasn't at uni, but I was living in a share house with 2 of my good mates in Ballarat. I was working really long hours in hospo, so I would be up early and like be awake until 3, 4 in the morning after work. And my dad was really unwell, so we were traveling. This was in 2019. So I was traveling back and forth with my brother Maddie to go see Dad. It wasn't looking good, like he didn't have much time. And he left it too late to be treated. So I think it was prostate cancer, which is probably the hardest to treat anyway. I don't think there's anything you can do. It's sort of just more when than if.
Yeah, okay.
But it had spread everywhere. So yeah, he just deteriorated really, really quickly. And in hindsight as well, like looking back, there was a lot of times where Dad had contacted me for money, but I didn't know what it was for. And I was at uni, like I was just like living
paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, and I just couldn't figure out. I did it a few times, but then I was like, I can't afford it. Like, I need to buy my dumplings.
My tuna noodles.
So I was like, obviously he sort of passed away and there was a lot of like complicated feelings about it. Like I didn't know him as a man in the house that was my dad. It was more like, you've turned 18 now, come to the pub for a beer. So I didn't there were times where he wouldn't show up when we planned dinner with him, and there's been other stuff that's happened with the other siblings that I'm not quite sure what happened, but I know that stuff did go down. So it was very complicated. After he sort of passed away, I started learning more about Dad, and his upbringing, and I was going through all of that sort of stuff when I first started dating Harry. And I was just I was a wreck. I was exhausted. I had just gotten a car, actually. It was a Mazda.
A little shout out to Mazda, thank you very much for keeping us safe.
That was before the jelly bean. And I feel like Harry was just fucking with me from the start. And there was so much stuff about his ex-girlfriend being in the picture, and he was just lying to me. I knew it. And I was like, get away.
Yeah.
But he would just keep turning up, and we would, fight, argue, and then I would just be so exhausted, emotionally drained. Yeah. And I was like, why can he not understand that I'm struggling already? It's nothing personal. I wasn't coping. So I was calling in sick for work, and I couldn't keep on top of my bills. So I had to reach out to my family for help. I had fallen behind on payments. My mum and Dave, her partner Dave, had to bail me out, essentially. And I was so ashamed because I didn't want to tell him what was going on. But like, again, like I couldn't regulate myself and I couldn't understand why I was feeling such extremes. Like I just highs and lows, which does look like depression, but I wasn't really depressed before that. Like it was either really like onset depression, like it happened really quickly and I just went downhill.
You said like obviously the upbringing with Dad wasn't necessarily ideal. And then kind of Harry seemed to be in the picture when Dad passed. Do you feel like you grieved? Or grieved properly? No.
I felt like I didn't have room to grieve.
Yeah. Because it was about what you and Harry were fighting about.
Well, yeah, essentially what.
And then the financial stress, and then you said 2019, so I'm assuming COVID was coming.
Yeah.
It was right there. So you never really had that. So I guess hence why it probably felt so sudden all at once.
And I remember like being in the house with those girls. I didn't know if they were like frustrated with me or they were just like shit friends, but I didn't want to believe that they were. Like I just wasn't functioning. I don't really think they understood why. And so like my relationship with them was ruined. I had no support.
Yeah.
And it, like the stuff with Dad did hit me harder than I thought it would.
It's still family.
Yeah.
No matter the relationship, it's still family. Like it's hard to hear. Like I feel like in those moments you always find the positives in that relationship. You can kind of, especially when like they're gone, it's like you can almost look past all this shit that did happen, and then it still hits you. It still hits you.
The amount of like empathy I felt towards Dad. I was like, I didn't know him, so like why am I grieving so hard? Like I was just like, I remember like saying to Harry, I was like, I didn't know him, but like it's still hard. And then he like used that against me when he would bring up relationship stuff. Just be like, yeah, but you said you didn't know him. And I'm like...
How's that fucking relevant, dude?
Yeah, I was, and like, just from like, Dad, I feel like I was not in a good mindset anyway. Everything just crumbled after that. I lost the place that I was living. I sort of like broke down to the girls about it and they were just like... And so I moved in with him very early days.
Yeah.
And yeah. It just got worse.
Just in the sense of like the manipulation, controlling sort of space.
Yeah. And I also like want to take accountability because like I was not myself, and it's really hard to like come to terms with that part as well. How much you lose yourself in those types of relationships, and like it's affected my other relationships and it's affected like the way I see myself because I'm like I can't trust what I'm actually thinking or feeling because it was just always it's your fault. He would say like pot kettle and I'm just like
pot and kettle,
like the pot calling the kettle black.
I've heard of it but I've never understood it.
So like it's like when you sort of bring stuff up that concerns you or like obviously just wanting to be heard and understood, and it would be turned back. So it was never just like about me and him against the problem. It was like me and him against each other. Half of the time, actually all of the time pretty much, was like he had been out drinking and would come home and I would cop it and I would have to go to work the next morning at 6:45 and do a 10-hour shift, 12-hour shift on like 3 hours sleep because the arguing would just go in circles every weekend. I was like saying to my sister, like, because I spent like a couple of weeks in Geelong before I moved down here afterwards, I reckon there was maybe 2 weekends where we spent together out of a 4-year relationship.
And then you and Harry? Oh, brother.
Just us two, yeah.
Jesus.
And I reckon, like, I tried to, like, I moved to Geelong. I was like, I can't do this. I had to, like, pack everything up before I was going to leave and tell him. And then I had to get I went and stayed at the hotel. I went to my boss and I was like, I need somewhere to stay tonight. Can I stay here? Because it was like a restaurant, but like a hotel.
Yeah.
And they gave me a room and I stayed there for a couple of days. And then my sister came and got me from Geelong. Mary came and got me. And then we went to the house and all of my stuff had been packed up. Like I had packed it up.
Yeah.
And so I moved all my stuff to Geelong.
So you packed up, like the couple nights at the hotel, had you told him that you were staying in the hotel? Like was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was aware that you were going, yeah, okay.
But having like a bit of distance and stuff, I was still going back to Ballarat to work and he was quite forceful, like wanting to see me and stuff. And so we sort of decided that I would be in Geelong for a few days a week. And then when I would come back to work, I would stay at the house. My family sort of knew a little bit of what was going on, but yeah, I feel like there wasn't a lot of understanding and I felt like shit. Like I just felt like completely trapped. Like I was like, such a weird feeling. It was like I knew it was wrong, but I didn't tell anyone about it because I knew I wouldn't get support. Like it was never like, we're going to support you no matter what you do. Like it was like, why the fuck are you with him? Like, and I just didn't want that. I didn't have many friends or anything at that point because it was just me alone all the time.
Do you reckon it was almost like a fear of being told what you knew was true, but it was more like that taking that action to actually get out? Because I mean, obviously, like even though you're in a situation where it sounds like the best thing for you is to leave, you still feel bad about leaving.
And he would make me feel guilty. Like he would make me feel guilty and like promise to change and stuff. Like I'm like, you dumb bitch.
I mean, you look back at it now. And, yeah, I mean, I'm huge on there's always learnings. One from relationships, everything you go through, there's always learnings, whether it's positive, negative, do's and don'ts. I mean, that's like one thing I always say to you, like, for us now, it's like, you're your individual person still. Like, don't ever lose that. Like, it's you.
I know, but like, it's affected our relationship too.
We communicate, so we're good. As best we can. We do well.
It's been a wild journey. But like, yeah, I guess like, looking back at that relationship, like just seeing how I was coping and how stuff, like I was so emotional and just like could not keep it together and like feeling like I just it was very, very isolating.
Do you feel like you can pick it up on other people's relationships after being in something like that? Do you feel like it's an onlooker? If you like look at a couple and you can
sense
you can sense toxicity.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can sense that? Like obviously some relationships you can read like an open book, but I feel like especially for you going through being a part of a relationship like that, and then, you know, whether you refer to ours or other relationships you've had, not necessarily have a relationship like that again. It's like, I feel like you can almost pinpoint to a degree. It'd be like, oh, there's a bit of stuff going there.
I mean, I think because I've gone through it and I know how hard it is, especially to like leave or like, I think it's made me like a better friend because I've had people sort of talk to me about their relationship and it's literally the least black and white thing you can go through. Like it's just not black and white. Yeah, and just to be so like enmeshed in this person that you just have no sense of who you are or like you can't trust how you're feeling.
I always find it interesting, people are always like you go through a breakup and people will almost identify you as the person that broke up or the person that was dumped. And it's like, oh, the person that got dumped, it must have been so hard for them. It's like leaving ain't easy either. Like in your situation, you've left for good reason, and realistically in the grand scheme of things, it's both for the better for the both of you. Because one, you can almost rediscover yourself, and secondly for him, but also he has stuff that he needs to work through and identify within himself before he puts someone else in the similar situation that you're in. And it's like, yeah, okay, you left, but it ain't easy. You've done it, which probably 80% of your being is like, no, stay. Because one, it's probably easier financially, living situation, like you don't have to pack up and leave obviously for 2-3 days you've stayed in a hotel, like all that uncertainty, all that messiness, just to eventually finally get away, and then you've got the whole pullback effect of what you're working a few days in Ballarat, and yet you end up staying with him again anyway. Like, it's not just like I'm cutting ties, that's it. Like, if someone can do that, like, good on. It's not that simple. Like, because again, like, you're 4 years. Not every single day of 4 years was absolutely fucking hell. Like, there's still good times. Like, obviously there's still good traits. But people are always like, oh, you broke up with him. Like, that's, poor person you're broken up with. It's like, yeah, but sometimes it's the best for two people.
Yeah.
It seriously can be the best for some relationships.
I sort of wish, like, leaving and, like, cutting it off fully. Because I was living close to my brother Matt. I was like, as soon as I call him and tell him, it will be, that's it. Yeah. You cannot go back.
Matt don't take no shit.
Yeah. And even when, like, I got out to their place, I, like, had a panic attack.
Yeah.
I had to drive after I'd done it and park around, like, an oval. Mm-hmm. And it took me, like, a couple hours to calm down. And then I finally called Maddie and I was like, I need to come out. I was like, I've broken up with Harry and I need somewhere to stay. And we had, like, a little bit of a chat on the phone, and, like, I could tell he was quite upset on the other end because I was. And then I took about another hour just to fully calm down to drive. And then I got out there and he was like, so are you actually broken up for good? And even then I wasn't sure, because I was like there's still yearning there and there's still love there for whatever reason. I was like, yes. It was pretty relentless after that. Like, we had to still communicate because of the house.
That's always messy as fuck. Possession and stuff like that, especially. Yeah, it's always messy.
Yeah.
It's never streamlined, unfortunately.
And I couldn't keep any food down. I was spewing constantly.
That's right.
So
you're here now. Well, call it the ending note. So you're 28 now, not 29 yet. I'm not going to throw that at you yet. Not yet. Not yet. Give it time. Okay, so you were diagnosed with the ADHD at 26. Yeah. I know of a few people who have been late diagnosed, like in both our circles. Just go get tested. Like, as advice, just go get tested.
I mean, like, I feel like if you want to be medicated, I wouldn't go through the process of trying to get tested because it's expensive. Mm-hmm. And, like, if you don't need medication to function, I think it's, like, shame on anyone else who says you don't have ADHD when you know you do. You don't need someone to validate that for you.
Yeah.
Unless there's a reason, like, to get on meds and stuff.
Yeah.
If you have it, you know. Do you feel like it's affecting you in our relationship?
I mean, I'm definitely.
Be honest.
I'm definitely difficult at times, in the sense of, like, sometimes control, but I feel like it's more of. I mean, you can agree or disagree with me here, but I feel like it's more of, like, physical things in the house. Mm. Like, I'm very particular. I'm going to make sure I zoom back to your eyes for that reaction there. I'm obviously very particular when it comes... very particular with things at home. But, like, we had this conversation this morning or yesterday, whatever it was. It's just like, I feel relaxed when everything's in its place, whereas you need to relax to be able to put things in their place, sort of thing, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Whereas that's sometimes where we clash a little bit, because it's just like, for me, I'd rather just get it done. So I can relax, so I can just be like, I'm done, everything's where it needs to be. But then, yeah.
Well, I think it's because I'm, like, so dysregulated and my energy is always, like, is quite low. And then, like, with medication and stuff, it does help, but the crash, you just cannot do anything about it. You can take, like, supplements and stuff to make it easier or less intense, but once that crash happens, it takes a couple of hours to, like, come out of it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty good at acknowledging that. I feel like most of the time I am, but I'm also a simpleton that be like, you need to tell me that the sky is up.
I mean, it's not just, like, ADHD too. Like, I've got, like, PMDD and endometriosis and I have hormone problem.
For yourself, it's just a never-ending battle.
Adult acne.
But you still function. I think you still function a very normal, adapting life.
It's getting better.
It's getting better, but that's the thing. It's like you've been medicated for 18 months.
Yeah.
And you've only just recently changed to a different medication in the past 6 weeks? No, 2 weeks.
I mean, my Vyvances, like the stimulants, have always been the same. But yeah, I've been on sertraline and clonidine, I think.
Clonidine.
For sleep.
For what now?
Sleep.
Oh, sleep. Not that you've been doing that.
Yeah.
I definitely think I've got somewhere in the realm. Wouldn't be surprised if it was OCD.
Can I say something that I've noticed in you?
Oh, shit.
No, it's not a bad thing. I think the OCD part of it is like a comorbidity. Or it could be like the trait of your autism.
I mean, again, there's definitely something.
Like,
there's something.
It really ruins your day when stuff is not sorted.
I wouldn't say it ruins my day. I don't know, I feel like I've been a lot better in the last 3 to 6 months of not letting small things or other people or their negativity bring me down or ruin my mood. It was funny, I was having this conversation with a guy at work the other day and we're going through these changes at work and it's really confusing.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple 3-minute job turns into a 15-minute job just because it's a new system and it's a pain in the ass. And everyone's I wouldn't say negative about it, but there's a lot of sandbagging around the topic. He said something to me and I kind of went on this little spiel of but it is what it is. There's going to be a few kinks. It's just because, that system was second nature. Now we're doing something new, so it's going to take time and this and that. And he goes, how are you so zen about it? And I'm like, well, mate, we have to work. We have to rock up. I'm not just going to come here and be sad, sack and depressed about it. I'm not saying that that's what he's doing, but it's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just roll with it.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's it. I don't want to come to work and hate my job. I'll come to work and there's a few little imperfections and inconveniences, but still, I still function.
Yeah.
I still get to go home. I still get to do the things I enjoy. I have food on the table. Pretty positive, my dude.
Yeah, no, I have not been that way.
Nah, it's fine.
My love is shit. But I got a new car, so yay! And a new doggy. Nuke, we love you.
Nuke.
Sorry for leaving you at home.
You haven't pissed on the floor for the last 3 days, but I still don't trust you.
It's been a while. A week.
Yes. By the way, it's a 45-kilo greyhound, for anyone listening.
Small boy.
He is not a fucking lapdog. Alright, we'll wrap it there. Thank you.
Wrap it up.
We will do another episode for your conspiracy theories.
Should we dab?
No.
Oh.
Or we can try. We can do one. That can be
just try.
If we can't get it on the first go, it's done.
Yeah, I'm leaving then.
Yeah. But no.
You.
Thanks for talking about this stuff. I know it's not necessarily easy, but especially the ADHD stuff, could be very helpful for some people.
Yeah, it's hard to get it all in the one go.
Yeah.
And I hate talking about it because it sounds so self-involved.
Yeah, but you saying that, I'm sure there's about 50% of all the 100 listeners that we have that were probably thinking, oh, wait.
Nah, I'll make it double.
But yeah, so no, I think it's worth a conversation. Or at least, again, in a relationship, both people need to acknowledge the fact that it's potentially there, it is there. And therefore communication can be better around it so that, one, you don't feel isolated as the one with ADHD. And two, I know that not being heard or not being used or whether it isn't a personal thing, it's you just dealing with your own brain.
Is the thing. I constantly have to choose between doing what I want to do or doing something that someone else wants to do because I'm masked that I actually like doing that. And then how do I be no, I actually don't like it.
It's like all those...
It drains on my energy. I don't have much these days.
It's like all those videos of the TikToks and the social battery. But being honest. It's hey Jesse, do you want to come out for a drink? No. Oh, have you got plans? No. What are you doing? Just laying in bed. I don't want to come. See ya.
Legit though.
No, hey, like I said, you do you. You do what you need to do for you. You fill your own cup. If that's 3 hours of singular dopamine hits of TikTok, hey, you do you. Alright.
Alright.
Let's dab it up.
Dab it.
Can we get this? Disappointment, but anyway, thanks for coming.
That doesn't deserve a knuckles.